All right, hello and a very good morning to you. It is Friday, the 18th day of July 2025. This is yet another brilliant, interesting episode of Amka Kenya, where we give you the head start. And now this morning, just as is the mantra we say, you've just woken up, completed that morning routine, or you're preparing your kids to go to school, or just finished with that morning gym. This is where you get the head start, and this is the best place to be every other Friday morning. And so today on the show, we have quite a wall-to-wall coverage lined up for you, and I am not alone in studio. I am joined by who and who?
Good morning, Theo. You know, we no longer say Friday. On Friday, we say Furahi Day.
It's a Furahi Day, actually.
It's a Furahi Day, I mean.
It's Furahi Day.
Good morning, Majibu.
A very good morning to you too, Linda, Pia, Theo, and our viewers back at home. Hey, you guys are blessed, Maze.
We are blessed.
Getting this very rare chance of me co-hosting your show. Sitting in for Tony Murigi, by the way, travel, Akoele. Langata.
Thought it's lost.
So he will be joining us next week. But for now, tupige kipindi.
Tupige kipindi.
All right. That is Majibu Kitsa, one of the newest signing on the Amka Kenya on Friday morning.
Introduce Jamini. Hey, Majibu Kitsa is my name, Super TV producer, and Leo, Super host.
Top 40 under 40.
That's right. Top 40.
Kilifi's finest export.
Hey, kwa tagline.
Indeed, it is a Friday morning, and that's how we do it right here on Friday's episodes of Amka Kenya. Now, today we'll be taking a look at the church and politics, and with us on set will be Bishop JCW. And also on the press review, we will be having that is Karanja Moringu on the press review this morning. And also Linda will be also having a lineup of our guests, and she should tell us who she'll be having this morning.
Oh yeah. Today I have a tax expert from KPMG, who's Beatrice Ndongo, and will not be speaking much about tax, but she's an economist as well. So we'll be speaking about the recent price hikes by EPRA, that is the Energy, Petroleum and Regulatory Authority. You saw yesterday Ndindi Nyoro, the Member of Parliament for Kihara, together with Mbade clashing on, they were on loggerheads over securitization of the 175 billion shillings for road maintenance levy. So it's a whole lot of discussion today, getting to make sense of what this securitization really means and what this means to the common mwananchi.
All right. And Majibu, what should we expect from your end this morning?
I will also be sampling some feedbacks online. Kila kitu venye zimekuwa happen, manze. So many things have happened since yesterday, from the arrest of Naivasha Member of Parliament, Jane Kihara. So I'll be sampling some of your feedbacks online, and also about the Ndiangui abduction case. Pia, apart from before niende kwanza kwa Ndiangui, remember Jane Kihara will be presented in court
today. Yes.
Yeah. She spent the night in Pangani police station after being taken to DCI yesterday.
And she said it was her first time.
Bana. Hey. Anasema ya je, kwani yako wengine tu tumekaa kwa hizo sales tumelala.
Usishout.
Indeed.
So so she said it was her first time, and today sijui kama pia it is her first time being in court. We'll also be sampling some of your feedbacks online. Continue sending them. We will be reading them as we continue with the show.
All right, indeed, that is what to expect this morning. And one of the biggest stories that we are waking up to this morning is that Naivasha Member of Parliament, that is Jane Kihara, spent part of the night, as Majibu has mentioned, at DCI headquarters and later at Pangani police station after she was arrested for failing to honor summons by the Directorate of Criminal Investigations over alleged incitement remarks. Now, she is expected to be arraigned in court today after she was arrested yesterday afternoon at her home in Maraigosho in Nakuru County in a dramatic operation live streamed on her Facebook page. Now, heavily armed police officers, some in uniform and others in civilian clothes, they stormed her home, ransacked the premises, and allegedly blocked journalists and members of the public from accessing the property before arresting her. Now, Jane Kihara has been linked to that. Her arrest has been linked to her close ties with the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. That is one of the biggest stories that we're actually following up this morning. And I don't know, lady and gentlemen, I don't know what it is that maybe you can pick from the Amka alert this morning.
Yeah, you know, I was watching the clips when the arrest was happening in Naivasha. She was just holding a meeting with other stakeholders in the sand industry. Remember, it's an industrial area. Naivasha is quite industrious. And you can imagine being picked from a crowd, from your own people. So you can imagine the unrest, the sort of environment that she was arrested from. And that's why it got so much attention, because number one, she was arrested in an area where there were so many people. She was attending to her constituents. And then away from that, she had to be transported, or she went to Naivasha first before she was brought to Nairobi.
And remember, I think it was a day of trouble for all the Gachagua allies, because you also remember Manyata Member of Parliament, Gitonga Mukunji, also ali record statement, pia jana.
For 6 hours, I mean 9 hours.
8 hours.
8 hours,
Yeah. And then Kihara tena akakuwa taken. Actually, the arrest, I'm told there were about 20 DCI officers, backed by anti-riot police officers also.
But you know, ukisema hata anti-riot, it's truly linked to what happened during the protests. Some of the allegations made is that they have been funding, or they have played a role in in inciting the youth.
But my question is, okay, 20 DC officers, it's okay, even though they were arresting only one person.
Yes.
But our anti-riot walikuwa wanafanya kwani ilikuwa maandamano?
That's also one of the biggest things that we'll be asking that question today as the day unfolds. And also something else that you need to be on the heads up this morning now is that DCI Amin is expected to also, we're going to give you an update on Ndiangoi case now. Blogger and activist Ndiangoi is expected to appear in court today. That is after the High Court, done by Justice Chacha Mwita, said that Ndiangoi was not supposed to be arrested for a period of 14 days since he was presented in court. That is an order by Justice Chacha Mwita. This is because the High Court had prohibited Ndiangoi's arrest for a period of 14 days since his 13 days disappearance. Now we expect to see that blogger in court today, and that is one of the cases that we're actually throwing our eyes on this morning.
Kwanza Ndiangoi, well, he said he was scared, yeah?
Really?
He already saw that I would be arrested, and so alingia nyasi.
I saw Ndiangui the moment he appeared in court for the first time after the alleged abduction.
Yeah.
Hey bro, ungeona too, this guy was tortured. On my end, that guy was went through hell. Because you remember pia time ya this Embu guy who was also abducted.
Yes.
Ni kama wakaenda huko wananyolewa.
Kwanza alinyolewa na makasi ni?
Sijui ni makasi ama wana
It's actually one of the biggest questions that was trending online. People were asking what happened to his hair. And actually, as Majibu has mentioned, he really looked troubled. And actually, one thing that still remains a puzzle is ever since he was abducted, he has never spoken about his ordeal. So no one knows exactly what happened to him.
Exactly.
And even the question of whether he abducted himself or really he was abducted by the Subaru men, as it is alleged, is still a matter that is incognito. But we will throw our eyes today to see how that falls. And also something else this morning is that homicide detectives have arrested Kennedy Kalombo Tole, that is the prime suspect behind the gruesome Kenyatta National Hospital ward murder. Kalombo Tole's arrest follows the brutal murder of Edward Maingendegwa. Yesterday afternoon, a patient admitted in Ward 7B, that is Group C, male on July 11th, 2025. Detectives have said that the suspect is the same suspect behind the murder of Gilbert Kenya in the same ward on February. Now, the deceased was found at around 2 p.m. with deep wounds in the throat. Preliminary investigations indicate that Kennedy Kalombo Tole was admitted to the facility on December 1st, 2024 in his room. Investigators recovered a pair of blue slippers and a blood-stained bedsheet also on the ground. Directly to the 7th floor where the window to the deceased ward is, they recovered a knife wrapped in gloves.
Whoa, I think first things first, our hearts goes to the family of the deceased. And then secondly, this is a facility that is supposed to be giving services, treatment, protection of people who have been injured perhaps and well. So you can imagine, how did that happen? That talks much about the security of this particular area.
And also, Linda, this is the second patient killed in the same ward, Ward 7B. Very unfortunate.
And actually the third in KNH. The third in KNH, the second actually this year.
Remember earlier this year also 39-year-old Gilbert King was killed in the same ward. That was on 6th of February this year. Yeah, if sijui kama director Kusawa na whatever Kenyans are saying online, we can just sample some of the feedbacks of whatever guys are saying online regarding this case. Number one, I can see, this is Sultan Emirate. Anasema, this story isn't answering some things. I think we need a statement by KNH to answer some basics. Number one, what warranted his admission for that long 7 months? Number two, his patient file. And also the hospital bills etc. We also need an ID to prove his name if he is a Kenyan. Yeah. Mwingine anasemaje? The other feedback, that's Gabriel Oguda commentary account. Anasema Kalombo Tole, a name that sounds like a villain in a Congolese horror film, killed a patient at KNH in February. Instead of a cell, he got a hospital bed, 3 meals, and a second chance to kill again in July. Now, this year Kenya is here beaming with breaking news, like they were not the waiters in this horror film. Bwana, this country will humble logic.
All right. Now, on that note, keep sending in your feedback this morning. And even as you send in your feedback, allow us to take this one also. TSC has invited teachers' unions for a last round of negotiations and signing of collective bargaining agreement, that is CBA 2025 to 2029. And so in a letter addressed to the unions, TSC will meet both unions later today for final talks to unlock a salary increment deal. That is, both NAT and KUPPET have threatened to call nationwide strikes should TSE fail to implement the new CBA within the next 2 weeks. Now, teachers are likely to get a pay rise in August, payroll backdated to 1st July 2025, and the new CBA will start from 1st July 2025 till 30th June 2029. Invitation to cover the presentation of the presentation examinations to system, policies and procedures and practices. This is also a story that we are checking up this morning. We are expected to see KUPPET and TSC, KUPPET and NAT signed the 2025-2029 CBA agreement. Mshahara inaongezwa.
Teachers will sleep happy today. The CBA because, well...
I think that's good news. At least for the first time we are hearing some increment in the salaries.
The problem comes in when it comes to honoring the CBA.
The CBA, actually, they're actually threatening and saying if the CBA is not honored, they will take it to the streets, and they're saying this time round is going to be more serious. Also, something else developing this morning is that Kenyans across all divides, they continue to send messages of condolences to the family of Phoebe Asio Muga. That is the first chairperson of Maendeleo ya Wanawake and the brains behind the 2/3 gender rule. She will also be remembered as the first African female senior superintendent of women's prisons, where she led reforms like separating male and female prisons. She was also a fearless member of parliament and advocate for gender equality.
Wow,
did you know that
woman.
Phoebe was the brains behind the 2/3 gender rule?
Oh yeah. A powerful woman. She made a lot of strides in regards to pushing for 2/3 gender. And women are still fighting for that. She's just the pioneer. And we are not yet there.
And also, I saw something that she was a member of parliament for Karachuonyo between 1979, served between 1980 to 83, making her one of the Kenya's longest-serving female MPs of her time.
She's credited with many rights that women enjoy today.
Actually, she's such a trailblazer because I actually also understand she's actually the first Luo woman elder. Yeah. Wow. And at this moment also, Allow us to take the question of the day this morning so that you can keep interacting and conversing with us. And the question of the day, the question that we are asking this morning is that what is your opinion on religious leaders' visit to State House? What is your opinion on religious leaders' visit to State House? As I had mentioned earlier during the introduction of the show, I said this morning we will be having Bishop JCW, or most of the times we call him Teacher JCW. We'll be touching on the church and the politics. That is why this morning we are asking, what is your opinion on religious leaders' visit to State House? The number to interact and talk to us this morning is 0757 725 083, and also on X and Facebook at K24 TV. Remember, the question of the day this morning is, what is your opinion on religious leaders' visit to State House? And to also help us make sense or break this down will be Bishop JCW, who is a pastor and a governance expert, who will be joining us on set or later sometime here in studio. Remember, you can keep interacting with us on our WhatsApp line, Facebook and X at K24 TV. Let's now take a look at the dailies and what is making headlines this morning on the dailies, or what, as you call it, Amka Kenya Viral. There you go. And we start with the People Daily this morning. The biggest story on the People Daily this morning, it reads and says, Ruto's cronies speaking garbage. That is one of the biggest stories on the People Daily this morning. And also, there's also a story about bribery in key government institutions surges. There is such an increase in the rates of corruption, and the police service has been pitted as the leading in corruption cases in the country. And this morning, with us in studio to help us make sense of what is making headlines in the dailies is Karanja Muringu, as we had mentioned earlier, and he is a political analyst. Mr. Karanja, welcome on set this morning.
Thank you, dear.
How is your morning looking like?
That's good. Yes.
I hope you're having a good morning.
Yes,
All
good morning.
Yeah,
yes.
we're having that big story on the People Daily this morning. Remember, a copy of the People Daily is available on Play Store or even online. And one of the biggest story is that Ruto's cronies speaking garbage. And now, Mr. Karanja, this has been tied to the fact that we are seeing allies of the president uttering reckless statements and reckless remarks, not caring who is watching, who is listening, and what are the repercussions of their statements. Does this concern you from where you sit about leaders allied to the president spewing reckless statements?
Theo, at this stage, we are mid the term of President Ruto. And you find most of the people allied to the president uttering things which are not favorable to the opposition or to the masses of this country. Mm-hmm. It's not good for the country, bearing in mind that we are the midterm, where we expect to have development. Mm-hmm. Right now, we elected this government for 5 terms. And it means they have to serve for 5 terms.
5 years.
5 years. Mm-hmm. However, they are not, you find there's a lot of infiltrations. The government is attacking even the commoner, and that is not fair for development. And you find in such cases, development will delay. The opposition have to do their part, which is in this time is the Rigathi Gachagua and his team. They have to do their part and do the opposition work. But the government attacking the opposition as per se and the commoners is not good for the country. Yes.
There's actually a concern in the story that is actually making headlines on the People Daily. And they're actually saying it is just going beyond political rhetorics. And it is actually going to the extent of making sexist or misogynistic statements. And one of the statements that has been pointed out, maybe this, I believe you saw it somewhere making rounds. It says, is a recent example that drew widespread outrage came during a rally in Kwale, where President William Ruto's aide, that is Farouk Kibet, he made distasteful and sexually suggestive remarks about nominated MP Sabina Chege. Is it an issue of character? Is it an issue of morals? Or is it an issue of, we don't care what you think?
We have the power.
Yeah, we have the power.
But you see, if you try to analyze the character of Farouk Kibet, who is a PA to the president, where he came from, I think he's not has not worked in the government elected or from a job which he has applied. So you may find the way he talked to Sabina Chege, the nominated MP, is even it shows how immoral he can be. You don't expect. I expect even that remark to be cut short somewhere. Not that you found that he went ahead, and Sabina somewhat felt shy and started moving away. So, and the PA to the president did not even realize that the woman is not entertaining those nonsense. She went on to the MP left the stage, almost left the stage and left him talking. It's a character which is being depicted by most of the people who are close to the president, not even mentioning the majority leader. Yes.
But again, Theo and Linda, this is not the first time we are seeing this happening, because remember during the campaigns we had this between the then presidential candidate, that is ODM leader Raila Odinga, and President William Ruto. Walikuwa wanaitana mganga, mwizi, those names. Have we reached a point when we have normalized these things that we don't care anymore?
I believe seasons we have season for politics, and you expect some things. But now we are not in the season for politics. If we are doing campaigns now, you do expect some things to available be there now. But this time, we don't expect those things to happen. Predominantly, what we should be doing is just the government should be cool down actually, and do the survey delivery. And if you go back to the last regime for President Ruto, for President Uhuru, you find in this stage, Uhuru was largely quiet, not politicking. The team which was doing politics are the Tagata team, which was led by the then deputy president, and the other one who were doing politics. And this sort of goes to another story where you find, like yesterday, you found this woman MP from Naivasha was arrested, was being arrested yesterday. Far from the politics. If you remember the formation of Tanga, the last regime, it was initiated by Ruto, and it was had five bench members. Jane Kihara was one of the members, and no wonder you may find some attacks. Dede Nyoro was one of the members in those attacks for the Tanga. Espasi. You can even Ligadi Gadashwa was there, and Ishongwa, that team. So you find it's periodic. You expect more or less to be happen those people who associated to Tanga then, and now they are not in the government, or they are not in the likes of the government. But however, it's politics.
Okay. Yes. They say there are no enemies in politics.
Yeah. They actually they call them frenemies. You know.
Frenemies.
Yes. On that note, we will also be touching on the issue of whether NCIC is selective in how it's dealing with these politicians. But as of now, I understand Majibu has something for us that is coming online. Majibu, over to you. Yes.
Are you a person that loves watching action person content? Well, K24 got you, because this Saturday, 19th of July 2025, took on a form, because K24 brings you a live coverage of their Professional Fighters League, famously known as PFL, matches for the 2025 season, starting from 5 p.m. Now, PFL Africa unleashes the continent's fearless warriors, raw talent, and unmatched pride. Kwa hiyo sisemi hatujakupeleka na form this Saturday from 5 p.m. jioni bana. K24 tutakuwa tuna live stream this particular PFL. Utakosaje? We are taking a short commercial break, but Amka Kenya will be back in a bit. Don't go too far.